Liar, he murmured, his voice dropping lower. Did Carol not tell you what I used to do? My specialty is reading people by their breathing. I instinctively held my breath. He broke into a full smile. I was lying about that part. Jasper, that's more like it. You've been so tense around me all day. Afraid he'd read something else in my reaction, I clammed up for the rest of the ride. The car glided through the quiet streets, the hum of the engine blending with the soft rustle of wind outside. I stared out the window, my hands clasped tightly in my lap, trying to ignore the weight of Jasper's gaze in the rearview mirror. He'd called my bluff, and now I was left scrambling to hold onto the fragile pretense that we were strangers. You didn't use the number, he said suddenly, his voice breaking the silence. It wasn't a question, more of a statement, laced with a hint of something I couldn't place. Regret? Curiosity? My heart skipped a beat. So he did remember. I tried, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Multiple times. No one ever answered. He nodded, his jaw tightening. It was a secure line. For military communications only. I shouldn't have given it to you. But when I got the call, emergency deployment, no notice, I didn't have time to write anything else. I thought I'd be back in a month, that I'd find you. I turned to look at him, my eyes wide. You tried to find me? For 6 months, he said. When I got back from the mission, I searched every bar in the city. Asked every bartender if they'd seen a woman matching your description. But you were gone. Like you'd vanished. A knot formed in my throat. All this time, I thought he'd abandoned me, used the deployment as an excuse to run. But he'd been looking for me. I moved, I said. After I found out I was pregnant. I couldn't stay in that apartment. Too many memories. He glanced at me again, his eyes darkening. Pregnant. The word hung in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning. Was it mine? I hesitated. This was the moment I'd feared, the moment I had to tell him about Nellie, the moment that could change everything. Yes, I said, my voice trembling. Her name is Nellie. She's 4. Jasper's hands tightened on the steering wheel, his knuckles turning white. The car slowed to a stop at a red light, and he turned to face me fully. His eyes were filled with a storm of emotions, shock, confusion, something that looked like joy, and something that looked like pain. 4, he repeated, as if the word was hard to process. I have a daughter. I nodded, tears stinging my eyes. She's amazing, Jasper. Smart, funny, stubborn as hell. Just like you, I think. He let out a shaky laugh. Stubborn? From me? Who else? I said, a small smile tugging at my lips. She loves crawfish, hates broccoli, and she's obsessed with helicopters. She says she wants to be a pilot when she grows up. His smile faded. Helicopters. That's what I flew. In the army. A wave of sadness washed over me. He'd lost so much. His ability to have more children, his career, the chance to watch his daughter grow up. I'm sorry, I said. About your injury. Carol told me. He shrugged, his expression hardening. It is what it is. Could have been worse. I'm alive, but I could see the pain in his eyes, the grief for the future he'd lost, the family he'd never get to have. Nellie doesn't care about that, I said softly. She just wants a dad. Someone to take her fishing, to read her bedtime stories, to tell her she's brave. You could be that for her. He stared at me, his gaze intense. And what about you? What do you want, Ava? I didn't know. For 4 years, I'd focused on Nellie, on building a life for her, on being both mom and dad. I'd never let myself think about what I wanted. But now, sitting here with Jasper, the man who'd haunted my memories for years, I felt something shift. I want her to be happy, I said. And I want the truth. About that night. About why you left so suddenly. The light turned green, and he pulled away from the curb. It was a classified mission. Hostage rescue. We got a tip that a group of American aid workers were being held in a compound in Afghanistan. We had to leave immediately. No time to pack, no time to say goodbye. I thought I'd be back in 4 weeks. But the mission went south. We were ambushed. I was shot. Spent 3 months in a hospital in Germany. By the time I got back to the States, you were gone. He paused, his voice dropping. The injury, it happened during the ambush. A bullet hit me in the lower abdomen. The doctors did what they could, but they couldn't save everything. I found out I couldn't have kids right after I got discharged. I thought that was it, that I'd never have a family. Then Carol told me about you, about Nellie. I didn't connect the dots at first. Not until I saw you at the shop. Not until I recognized your eyes. Tears streamed down my face. He'd been through hell, shot, injured, told he'd never have children, all while I was resenting him for leaving. I'm so sorry, I said. I judged you so harshly. I thought you were a coward. You weren't wrong to be angry, he said. I should have found a way to contact you. I should have tried harder. We pulled up in front of my apartment building. The car went silent, and for a moment, neither of us spoke. I could feel the tension between us, the unresolved feelings, the fear of what came next. Can I meet her? He asked, his voice quiet. Nellie, can I meet my daughter? My heart swelled. Of course. She's with my mom right now. They're coming back tomorrow. You can come over for breakfast. If you want. He nodded, a small smile spreading across his face. I want. More than anything. I reached for the door handle, but he stopped me. Ava, he said. That night, it wasn't just a one-night stand for me. I felt something real. I thought we could have had a future. Before the mission. Before everything. I looked at him, my eyes filled with tears. Me too, I said. I thought so too. He leaned across the console, his hand brushing mine. His touch was warm, familiar, sending a jolt of electricity through me. For a moment, I thought he was going to kiss me, but then he pulled back, his expression serious. Tomorrow, he said. I'll be here at 9 a.m. Is that okay? Okay, I said. I got out of the car, my legs wobbly. I turned to wave, and he waved back, a smile on his face. As I walked into the apartment building, I felt like my world had been turned upside down, but this time it was a good thing. The next morning, I woke up early. I cleaned the apartment, baked cookies, and laid out Nellie's favorite breakfast, pancakes with chocolate chips. I was nervous, excited, terrified. What if Nellie didn't like him? What if Jasper didn't know how to be a dad? What if this all fell apart? At 8:59 a.m., there was a knock on the door. I took a deep breath and opened it. Jasper stood there, holding a bouquet of sunflowers, Nellie's favorite, and a small stuffed helicopter. He was wearing a clean button-down shirt and jeans, his hair combed neatly. He looked nervous too. His hands were slightly shaking, and his smile was tentative. Hi, he said. Hi, I said, stepping aside to let him in. Come on in. She'll be here any minute. He handed me the flowers. These are for you, and this is for her. He held out the stuffed helicopter. They're beautiful, I said, placing the flowers in a vase. She's going to love the helicopter. Obsessed is an understatement. He laughed, and the tension in the room eased a little. We made small talk, about the shop, about Carol's antics, about his plans now that he was out of the army, until we heard the sound of a car pulling up outside. That's them, I said, my heart racing. A moment later, the door opened, and my mom walked in holding Nellie's hand. Nellie's eyes lit up when she saw me. Mommy, she shouted, running into my arms. Hi, sweetie, I said, hugging her tightly. I missed you so much. I missed you too, she said, pulling back to look at me. Then her eyes landed on Jasper. She tilted her head, curious. Who's that? I knelt down beside her, taking her hand. Nellie, this is Jasper. He's a friend of Auntie Carol's. But he's your dad. Nellie's eyes widened. My dad? Jasper knelt down too, his voice gentle. Hi, Nellie. I'm sorry I haven't been around, but I'm here now, if you want me to be. He held out the stuffed helicopter. This is for you. I heard you like helicopters. Nellie stared at the helicopter, then at Jasper. For a moment, I was terrified she'd run away, that she'd reject him. But then she reached out and took the toy, a small smile spreading across her face. Thank you, she said. You're welcome, Jasper said, his voice breaking. Do you want to talk about helicopters? I used to fly them. In the army. Nellie's eyes lit up. Really? Did you fly fast? Did you shoot bad guys? Jasper laughed. I flew fast, and I tried to stop the bad guys. Want me to tell you about it? She nodded eagerly, pulling him toward the living room. Come on, sit on the couch, Mommy. Can we have pancakes while he tells me stories?